Having come towards the end of the remedy section, I want to cover many more remedies that might be useful to you. However, I will not elaborate too much in them because they will be dealt in other books, and they are only relevant to overthinking to some extent and not totally. I want to remind you that without going through the above remedies, the remedies that follow now won't be that much of help, and they will only act as mild relievers of pain. On the other hand, if you have honestly practiced the above remedies, the ones that I prescribe below will be very beneficial and will create exponential increase in your quality of thinking and your overall well-being at the cognitive and emotional level. So let's begin with the physical exercise. The biggest problem of overthinking is that it creates a negative hormone that people call cortisol. The medical field treats it like a stress hormone and also notes that it has many advantages in making us alert. I have written two whole books about this hormone cortisol, and you are invited to explore those concepts in those two books. Anyways, back to this section on overthinking. The cortisol that overthinking causes can be neutralized by the endorphin hormone that exercise secretes. Now, for many of you, this kind of neuroscience and biology might be confusing, but it's an emerging science which has made lots of progress, and I have explored a lot on this particular subject. It can be any form of exercise, as you can see on the picture on your left side if you're watching the video book. The only requirement is that the exercise shouldn't be competitive and shouldn't cause more stress and require more thinking. If you are able to meet that condition, then any exercise is good. Even simply walking across your room, then making rounds. To many people, I even prescribe to wash their clothes when they are overthinking. One of my favorite exercise for the times when I tend to overthink is to clean the house. Dusting doesn't provide much exercise as much as mopping does. So the science is that when you exercise, the endorphins that will be secreted will neutralize the cortisol, and as a result, your thoughts will be streamlined, and then you will feel much more at peace with yourself. Another side effect of exercise is that the quality of your thoughts will increase. On top of that, it will help you stay well grounded in your philosophies that we have discussed in the earlier section. So, by all means, exercise. One of the triggers that I suggest people is that the moment you are catching yourself overthinking, just stand up and take a walk. In fact, I know many people who go on a long walk or go swimming or hit the gym when they are angry, which means that they are overthinking in some ways. So make it a habit. That is, when your thoughts seems heavy, then just simply find some exercise that is most beneficial for you. Myself, I like to keep exercise equipments lying around the house. So in various rooms, I have different kinds of dumbbells, elastic bands. In my own lobby, where I tend to be many times of the day, I have a stick with which I exercise. What is sad is to see that many people who make a living by thinking just sit in their chair in front of their computer or in front of a mobile and just spend the whole day thinking. This is just harmful for the mind and the body. Another simple technique to get rid of overthinking is to talk to people who are not negative. My emphasis is on not being negative, because it doesn't matter if they are very close friends or strangers or a psychotherapist. As long as they have a positive outlook towards life, they will usually be good medium for you to overcome your overthinking. What happens here is the work of another hormone called oxytocin. This chemical is one that gives us a good feeling of being connected. So what happens is when you talk to people, you secrete oxytocin, and then you feel a general sense of being connected, happier. That leads to more control in your thinking. In addition, when you talk to people unknowingly, mostly subconsciously, through various gestures and interpretation of your own words, people transfer their philosophies to you. Whereas I directly told you about my philosophies earlier, most people transfer them through cues that range from the way they move their eyes when you talk, and the position of their bodies when you feel a certain feeling, and the words that they say or don't say when you talk. However, in the state of overthinking, many people do not like to overthink on finding someone to talk, and they give up on themselves alone in their room. That might lead to a state called depression. Mind you, the person that you can talk to doesn't have to be an expert. Yes, the kind that we have been discussing earlier. Finding an expert and talking to them is the best thing that can happen to you, but it might not be feasible most of the time. So talking is the in-between state of staying alone and thinking and finding the expert. Talking with anyone who is positive is a great relief. That is why I always tell people to invest in good friends and family members. Without people around your life who will be supportive to you, all the money in the world is useless. There are some ground rules for talking also. Here are some do's and don'ts. First, don't ever talk to people who have vested interest in you being miserable. That applies to office coworkers, maybe, or competitors, certainly, and maybe even some family members. These people are the ones who are happy that you are miserable. You might have deserved it, or it might be totally pure evil from their side. It doesn't matter, but talking to such people will only aggravate your problem. Don't vomit your thoughts on the people who volunteer to listen to you and are positive. What I mean by that is do not just tell everything and anything that goes in your mind, and instead talk in a more conversational way. Remember, they are not your psychotherapist and you have not paid them to listen to you. Even if they would like to listen, they would not have the mental capacity to absorb all the thoughts that you pour at an incessant level. So just be mindful when you communicate with people who are willing to listen to you, so that you do not turn them away from you. Your objective is to develop oxytocin in you, and that can be achieved by listening to them also, and sharing your feelings also at the same time. On the do side, I recommend you to always be thankful for anybody volunteering to listen to you. By the end of the conversation, just profusely thank that person without fail. Remember to make a conclusion, wrap up with what you have learned from that person and how the session or the conversation you had with that person helped you. So, yes, talking isn't as simple as simply opening your mouth and saying things, right? Writing is a very effective way to manage your overthinking. It is a kind of primitive version of mind mapping. You can call it writing a journal. Some people call it a diary. Whatever name you give it, just jot down whatever comes in your mind, and that will help you relieve your stress from overthinking. What happens when you write is that your thoughts become organized, and you will be able to see more clearly through them. Also, writing is some kind of physical activity, and as a result, you will develop some level of endorphin in the process. On top of that, there are so many thoughts that we are not able to speak, but we are able to write. Finally, the advice I want to give when it comes to writing is if you are in a place where there are people who might take a peek of what you are writing, then make a strategy to either burn whatever you have written or tear it. You can also use your electronic devices, and in that case, it's easier to delete. The idea is not that you keep those writings, but it is that you have expressed yourself in written once at least. Finally, in this last list of remedies for overthinking, I want to mention meditation. The problem with meditation is that it in itself creates more overthinking. Most of the gurus prescribe meditation for solving overthinking, but it is counterintuitive, in fact. When the mind is closed from all the senses, then it will even wander further. My next book will be on meditation, so you can read more about it later on. But only what I have to say now is that meditation works in overthinking if you practice the breathing exercises. In this case, meditation would be a misnomer, and pranayama or breathing exercises would be a better suited exercise for people who are suffering from overthinking. Obviously, most of the breathing exercises are done in a sitting position, so there is a valid reason why people confuse these with meditation. That said, breathing exercises is it nothing more than breathing in, breathing out, and holding the breath in the both ways. That is, holding when the breath is inside your lungs and holding when there is no air in your lungs. The various exercises are just derivatives of this simple function of pranayama. What this breathing does is that it helps catch the overthinking process as if it was your hands in your mind. In this way, you can say that the breathing exercise are the mental limbs and hands that are holding your thoughts while they are being created and while they are moving, expanding around your mind. In the absence of such breathing exercises, there will be no referee in the game of overthinking. So you can say that breathing will ensure that the thoughts do not cross the limits and do not carry you away. Finally, we all wish that meditation and just sitting under a tree, closing our eyes, will make our lives easy and will heal us from overthinking. However, this is a very childish idea and one that is highly exploited by various gurus to get followers. Unfortunately, the strategy is to blame the followers for not being able to meditate properly when the prescription of the medicine itself is flawed. Anyways, that's the beyond the scope of this book to talk on this matter, and I'll be talking about it in my next book anyways. So basically, learn to use your breathing in order to control your thoughts while sitting in the meditation position.